Yes, good evening and welcome back to the Football Tribe YouTube channel. Robert Kesakos is your usual suspect. Welcome back to yet another live podcast on your favorite football updates channel. That's at Football Tribe UG. It's been a beautiful Monday, both a bit drizzly, cold, ish, and hot. But that's the nature of the Ugandan weather. So, thank you to all those that joined us in the morning. It was a pleasure to have you for that nearly 1 hour long broadcast. Then, so yeah, and tonight we are back at it, of course, to bring you the latest uh, from uh, from your favorite clubs. At the moment. Of course, we'll be speaking Newcastle, we'll be speaking Arsenal, Man United, Chelsea, all involved in that mix. So yeah, that's what we'll be looking to complete tonight. Otherwise, how are you guys doing? How has been your day? But before we go any further, allow me, have our audios tested to make sure everything does check out really well for purposes of, this broadcast to ensure everything works out well. I think our audio is good to go. I think our audio is good to go. Everything does check out well. So just wait on you guys to join the broadcast and we'll get this conversation going. And we will get this conversation going. Really, just waiting on you to join the broadcast and we will get the conversation going. Yep. Otherwise, special shout outs to you, Cristian. Congratulations to all Chelsea fans upon winning the FIFA Club World Cup. I mean, you couldn't have done that any better in the manner in which you were able to achieve that. I thought it was really, really, really impressive with what you did against PSG. So congratulations to you. Continue to relish and bask in your glory. For you do deserve it really. I mean that was as impressive as a performance at that kind of level does come. You couldn't have, you couldn't have you couldn't have asked for better. So anyways, it's a pleasure to always be back here with you. So guys, if you're just joining us, please consider liking the broadcast, but also subscribing to the channel if you're new here. Do let me know where you're joining us from down from the comment section. I'll be reading your comments. I'll be giving you your special shout outs and mentions, but do me that absolute honor, that absolute favor, and like the broadcast, but also subscribe to the channel. It's a football channel. It's a football sports, updates channel. And yeah, we'll be speaking that and more in tonight's broadcast. So join me on this journey as we discuss the latest from there. I mean, I'm trying to update something, but yeah, do let me know what your thoughts are on everything that is ongoing, especially in the world of transfers. Do you think Man United are doing enough? It's been, I think, more than a month of them trying to negotiate a deal for Brian Mbeumo. It's been, more than a month of us reporting that Liverpool are interested in bringing in a striker. But like I told you, it is dependent on them moving on one of their very own. So yeah, that will be the basis of our conversation. But like I said, we will, without wasting even a single minute of your time, we are going to kick things off at Newcastle, because we know for a fact that Newcastle are working on signing a Liverpool, Chelsea, and Manchester United target. As we speak, that news broken by none other than the usual suspect in David Ornstein of The Athletic, who came out to say that Newcastle United are working on a deal to sign Hugo Ekitike from Eintracht Frankfurt, not yet agreed or close to being done, but talks continue over the potential deal of 75 million euros. Newcastle want the 23-year-old, French forward to play alongside Alexander Isak. Now, the first question that people were asking themselves, including myself inclusive, was if Newcastle were to get a deal in place for Hugo Ekitike, does that mean that Alexander Isak could possibly leave this summer? But from that very submission from David Austin, it appears that that wouldn't be the case. That he is looked as a partner, to play alongside Alexander Isak, maybe in a 4-4-2 system, or maybe as the de facto number 2 to Alexander Isak. Of course, they've had Callum Wilson for quite some time, although that one has since part ways with the club at the end of his contract. They were unable to come to terms on a new contract, so he part ways with the club, and now they are looking for a replacement. Initially, their targets were on Joao Pedro from Brighton and Hove Albion, but we all know Chelsea came in last minute and swept him off his feet, and on he went to Stamford Bridge. So Newcastle then turned. I mean, this is a player that they tried to sign even in January. He only joined Frankfurt in the summer of 2024. That's on a permanent deal, having been with them initially on loan from Paris Saint-Germain. And I think I remember his first campaign. I think he played in about 14 games and scored 4 goals and provided 1 assist. The last season overall, he scored 22 goals and provided 12 assists across all competitions. 15 of those are coming in the league and also providing 8 assists, as far as my memory serves me. So he is a very, very young striker, only 23 years of age. He actually turned 23 on June the 20th. So very, very good, promising talent. If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I mean, of course, we have reported widely that Eintracht Frankfurt are demanding a fee at least as high as 100 million euros, amid strong interest from the likes of Chelsea, from the likes of Liverpool and Man United, among the other 2 clubs that have inquired about the availability of the player, or what the situation would be, what the terms would be if they were to pull off a signing of Hugo Ekitike. It's not yet known where his allegiances lie, or whether he has an open mind in regards to where he would want to play going into next season, because sometimes a club is interested in a player, but then the player is not interested in joining our club. So we've had such situations in years gone by, and we are waiting to see. Because I mean, if you are attracting interest from Liverpool, from Man United, from Chelsea, from Newcastle, I mean, those are really, really big teams. Those are historical teams in the Premier League, as well as the UEFA Champions League for the part of United, Chelsea, and Liverpool. So all at the moment, but Manchester United have the promise of European football. UEFA Champions League football for Chelsea and Liverpool, then as well as Newcastle. Man United do not have that, so that sort of puts them at a bit of a disadvantage. Then you look at Liverpool, if they are telling you, look, we're going to move on Darwin Núñez, and you will be our, number 1 target, you'll be the target man, then that looks, quite convincing. Then also, you do bear in mind that you're talking to the reigning Premier League champions, who are promising you that they are working on retaining the Premier League title, and that's why they are looking to bring you in. I think that could be a very exciting project. There's no doubt on the abilities of Arne Slot, given what he was able to achieve last season. So, and then on the other side of Chelsea, I think it will be an oversell really, because I mean, you've just signed Liam Delap. You still have Nicholas Jackson. You have Joao Pedro. What makes me think that if I do come, I'm going to play, that I'm going to start, I'm going to get, the desired minutes? Because it's one thing to be the main target man that is being brought in by a particular club. For example, the manner in which Arsenal are looking to bring in Viktor Gyokeres, and let's say you have to adapt to a league and a new team, and yet you have all these other 3 strikers that are already acclimatized to the league, that are ready to hit the ground running. So basically, that's what you would be competing with. Even if Chelsea were to say, okay, we will sacrifice Nicholas Jackson and let that one go. But then they just signed Joao Pedro and Liam Delap, who are already Premier League proven players to a smaller extent, particularly for Liam Delap, who has only played one Premier League season with Ipswich Town last season, where he scored 12 goals. So it becomes a bit of a tough sell for Chelsea in regards of selling the player, that project, when they have to compete with the likes of Liverpool, when they have to compete with the likes of Newcastle. For Newcastle, again, good wages, new owners, good project. Last season, they won the Carabao Cup. They want to continue on that upward trajectory. So it is a promising, project. But also, you enter it knowing that you're going to have a little bit of less pressure on your shoulders because there is already at least a primary target man, but also that can be a disadvantage, knowing that it could limit your game time and things of that nature. So, but if you're Hugo Ekitike, and let's say all those four clubs, as we've enlisted them, Chelsea, United, Newcastle, and Liverpool are all interested in your services, how would you rank them in regards to priority? There have been previous reports that apparently he's a Manchester United fan, and so he could prioritize a move to United over anybody else, but we do not know that with absolute certainty. Sometimes players have admirations for certain clubs when they're in certain phases within their development or success, pursuits. So if you're Hugo Ekitike, my feeling is that you rank, say, say Liverpool, because Darwin Núñez will be paving the way. So Liverpool will come number one. I think Newcastle will come number two. And then maybe Man United will come number three, even ahead of Chelsea because of what Chelsea already have. Gaming, hello. Atadal, or is that Adul? I do not know how to pronounce your second name. Your first name. But how are you doing? Where are you joining us from this evening? I'm good to have you on the broadcast. Kindly do me a favor and like the broadcast, but also consider subscribing to the channel if you're new to the channel. Although, so that will be the expectation. Please let me know where you're joining us from. I'd like us to engage a little more than just the hello. How are you from? Oh, I'm all right. If that's what you're asking. If you're asking where I'm from Kampala, Uganda. That's to answer. If that's what you're asking particularly, I'm from Kampala, Uganda. That's where I'm coming to you live from. So I think that would be the thought process of Hugo Ekitike. Even though Newcastle are in active negotiations with Eintracht Frankfurt and have put an offer on table, it's not like David Austin put it. They're nowhere near reaching an agreement. Deal is not yet done. Oh, you're from India. What part of India? I've heard that. I won't say I know for a fact, but I've heard India is so big. But usually it's the places that usually come common to our ears is Mumbai. Then I've heard what's the other place? Punjab. Is it Punjab? Something like that. And yeah, what is India known for? Street food. One of those things. But anyways, thank you for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you again on the broadcast. So, but that's the situation regarding Hugo Ekitike and all the clubs that are interested in his services. Then quickly, let's run to Arsenal because Arsenal apparently are working on a deal to complete the signing of defender Cristian Mosquera from Valencia. The 21-year-old centre back is into the final year of his contract with Valencia, and I does favor a move ahead of anyone. Am I Muslim? No, I'm not Muslim. I'm Christian. But thanks for asking. So Arsenal are working to complete that move, and they've already agreed a deal in principle, slightly under 20 million euros. Slightly under 20 million euros from what we do gather, as different sources reporting different figures. I must acknowledge really because when you look at some sources, they will say it's about 15 million pounds plus 3.5 million pounds in expected add-ons, while other sources could highlight that that fee is about is slightly a little more than that. But I think for majority of the trusted sources, the guaranteed fees would be £15 million to Valencia and 3.5 in expected add-ons. We're talking about a player in the final year of his contract. If Valencia stick to their guns, then they are bound to losing him for free next summer, and you wouldn't want that. In any world, you wouldn't want that to happen. A good expert. What does that mean? I'm struggling to read that middle word. In Agrowood expert. What? I'm sorry, I did not get that rightly. So, but anyways, that's what Arsenal really working on. So Valencia do really found themselves in a bad spot. But so you do make the decision that instead of losing a player for free, you would rather make some money. And this is a player that has told you he's not signing a new contract, even when you put a new offer on table, and he has told you quite frankly, that he would favor a move to Arsenal, and that has nothing to do with Valencia. But again, how did Valencia put themselves in this kind of awkward situation where you have a player like who is really being sought after by the likes of Real Madrid, even Barcelona and other top teams in Europe, that you have the player burn down their contract to just 1 year? I mean, he's only 21 years of age, but I sort of, do not understand that bit. Anyways, quickly, let's move away from Cristian Mosquera. But okay, but we do expect that deal to go through. He is only waiting, I think, from he's waiting for permission from Valencia, permitting him to travel to London to complete his medicals, because I think the two clubs are still ironing out on the payment structure of that fee, even though it's a modest fee, given everything else that Arsenal feel that they need to work on during this course of transfer window. It could be that it is a bit of a structured deal, maybe in 2 installments. You never know. But yeah, we are still waiting for that green light. Or Cristian Mosquera is still waiting for that green light for him to make the switch to Arsenal. Then we do know for a fact that Arsenal did agree to a deal in principle over the signing of striker Viktor Gyokeres from Sporting Lisbon after his agents waived their 10% commission to try and facilitate the move. The player had already given up to €2 million in order to facilitate that move, and that agreement was reached upon yesterday. That's between Sporting Lisbon and Arsenal for the transfer of the 27-year-old Swedish international. Equally, for Viktor Gyokeres, he is waiting for a green light from both Sporting Lisbon and perhaps his agents who did land in London today to negotiate his contract terms, while on the other side, Arsenal were left with a few minor details to iron out in regards to a payment structure and what those add-ons would mean for that deal to be completed, for a total of €73.5 million, the guaranteed fees being about £55 million, which is essentially €63.5 million, plus €10 million in expected add-ons. And Arsenal possibly could have their man before the end of the week. Now, Arsenal do have a game to play on Friday against Watford. It will be a behind closed door game at London Colony. That's their training ground. And then later that day, because that game will be played in the morning, and then later that evening, they will fly out to Singapore for the pre-season tour in Asia, in which they will play AC Milan and Newcastle in Singapore before moving to Hong Kong, where they will play Tottenham Hotspur and eventually return home. So Arsenal's objective is to have at least 3 of those new players join that camp. The other being Noni Madueke, who we know has successfully completed his medicals. Everything is done and dusted. Paperwork are all signed between players, between the two clubs. Sorry, between the player and the club, and then between the two clubs, that's in Chelsea and Arsenal. What we are waiting for is an official announcement, while medicals are to be scheduled for Viktor Gyokeres and Cristian Mosquera. Let's hope Andre Bata can lock those in at least by Friday. Then there are reports, of course, that multiple teams, especially in the Premier League, that are interested in signing Wes Nelson from Arsenal. We do know that Arsenal are open to letting him go. In fact, he is among the players that they are looking to move on. He did spend last season out on loan at Fulham. It didn't work out perfectly well, but it wasn't that bad either. But again, his season was equally hampered by injuries, as the case has always been with previous seasons. But apparently, the player would prefer a club within London, because he would prefer to stay in London as opposed to going outside London. And there's a couple of unnamed Premier League players that are clubs that are interested in his signature, including Fulham, where he spent last season on. My good guess would be that if Arsenal should be looking to get a fee of about £15 million, plus maybe £5 million, at the very utmost, maybe £25 million, like 20 in guaranteed fees and then £5 million in expected add-ons, because we are talking about a player who we know is a very good player, can dribble, can score goals, can provide assists, but he just lacks that consistency due to his lack of fitness. He's often troubled by injuries, really, and yet there is a good player in there. A similar kind of situation with Emile Smith-Rowe, the Fulham forward. Then the other players that they could look to move on, unfortunately, is Jakub Kiwior, one of those that could be moved on. Of course, Alexander Zinchenko, Fabio Vieira, and all those others. But also, it is expected, according to reports, that Arsenal, after sealing those deals for Noni Madueke, Viktor Gyokeres, and Cristian Mosquera, will turn their attention to trying to sign Ebelechi Eze from Crystal Palace, with the hope that they can be at least allowed to pay a fee slightly lesser than his release clause, that is £60 million plus £8 million in expected add-ons. Let's wait and see if Andre Bata can pull off another masterclass of a negotiation for him to seal that deal. Let's go away to Arsenal. Of course, at Man United, not much is really happening. Of course, there's speculation linking them with multiple players. The deal for Bryan Mbeumo is not yet agreed. So there's a bit of lackluster in the way Man United are conducting their business this summer, so much to the detest of their own fans. So let's wait and see. But some reports do suggest that now Man United are interested in signing Colin Tolisso from Olympique Lyon. We did see him, quite very exciting player. He's one of those players that troubled Man United over the 2 legs as United met Lyon in the quarterfinals of the UEFA Europa League last season, which they eventually won 7-6 on aggregate, following the 5-4 victory at Old Trafford that preceded a 2-2 draw in France. So let's wait and see. Then they've been linked with a goalkeeper from Botafogo. He's 29 years of age. His name eludes me. I need to find that up quickly. But but all that is in the wake of Andre Onana's injury. Because Andre Onana suffered a hamstring injury that could see him out of action for 6 to 8 weeks, and that means he essentially would be missing a part of the would miss the kickoff of the season. And remember, Arsenal will be up against Manchester United. Manchester United will be up against Arsenal in the opening weekend at Old Trafford. That will be on August the 17th. Then, okay. Then, of course, Alvaro Carreras to Real Madrid. That one has been confirmed. 50 million euros to Benfica, and Real Madrid get themselves a left back. He did come through Castilla. That's the Real Madrid academy. So he is back where it all started for him. He had a stint at Man United before he left to join Benfica. So that deal was concluded at least today. Alvaro Carreras only wanted Real Madrid. That's according to Fabrizio Romano this summer, as he stayed patient even when talks between clubs went on standby in June personal terms agreed for 2 months and now sealed as revealed last week. Real have been able to agree to 50 million euros that will be paid in installments. So we do expect an announcement will be coming soon. There. Then the other biggest news of the week of Monday in regards to transfers is regarding Luka Modric. Like we told you before, he was destined for a move to AC Milan on a 1-year contract with an option to extend for a further year if everything works out perfectly well. 39 years of age, and he will be joining with shirt number 14 at AC Milan. They do get themselves a very, very experienced player, and I think given the pace of the Italian Serie A, he could fare well for at least a year or two while at it. Then, I mean, those are among the deals that are being completed. Then, okay, so that's the gist of the transfers on that end. In regards, then James McAtee is in Germany for a tour around Eintracht Frankfurt ahead of the proposed move for that. James McAtee, that's the Manchester City midfielder. He's attracted interest from some Premier League clubs as well as teams from Germany. So let's keep our eyes peeled on that. Then Brentford could look to Ipswich Town's Omari Hudson as a replacement for Bernie Mbomo, according to Fabrizio Romano. Let's see, Keith Andrews, whatever he is cooking. But I get the feeling that they could struggle next season. That's Brentford if they end up losing literally the entire front line. Then also remember they've already lost their captain Cristian to Arsenal. Then RB Leipzig have agreed a deal to sign Johan Bakayoko from PSV Eindhoven. Johan Bakayoko has been a target for many Premier League clubs, including Nottingham Forest, who wanted him as a replacement for Anthony Elanga, but it's here we go according to Fabrizio Romano, deal in place for PSV Eindhoven, agreement on 22 million euro package with PSV and player authorized to undergo medical tests before completing that move. So that's also there. Then Benoit Badiashile is one of those players that could leave Chelsea this summer. Although he insists that he will be at Chelsea next season. Let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. You never know. You never know. Then quickly, I want us to go through the transfer gossip and speculation before we wrap up tonight's broadcast. Otherwise, then yes, we do know that Man United winger Alejandro Garnacho would prefer to stay in the Premier League or particularly in Europe amidst interest from Saudi Pro League clubs. That's according to the Telegraph, with the 21-year-old prioritizing Europe over any other. And we do have concrete reports that he would rather stay in the Premier League. That would be his preference, even though there have been reports linking him with a potential move to Bayer Leverkusen, reports linking him with a move to Napoli, and things of that nature. Then Bayern Munich apparently may consider turning their attention to 30-year-old, Leandro Trossard if they fail in their pursuits for Luis Diaz. Then Brighton striker Ivan Ferguson is poised for a move to AC Roma with the 20-year-old, with the two clubs engaged in talks over the transfer of the 20-year-old Republic of Ireland striker. Then West Ham did agree a deal to sign Slavia Praga's 20-year-old Senegal fullback, that's El Hadj Malik Diouf. Remember, West Ham are in a very, very interesting position. Not interesting in a good way, but they need to rebuild that squad in a way. Some players have left, of course, the likes of Katzuma. They are losing Mikel Antonio, Nicolas Fulcru. They sold them a raw deal. I think that was bad negotiation because they signed the player for nearly £30 million. It's not really worked out. So yeah, they need this. They need so many replacements for if things that work out for Graham Potter next season, and they could be in the market for goalkeeper. We know for a fact they made inquiries about the availability of Robert Sanchez from Chelsea. But with Chelsea losing George Petrovic, I do not think they will sanction a move for Robert Sanchez unless they do sign a goalkeeper. With their reports linking them with a potential move for Gianluigi Donnarumma. We also know about their interest in Mike Maignan. That's the AC Milan goalkeeper. So let's just wait and see. Then Nottingham Forest. Okay, that we've already discussed. Then apparently the agents of RB Leipzig, a striker, that's Benjamin Sesko, have contacted Liverpool to gauge their interest in the Slovenian international following Arsenal's decision to focus on Sporting Lisbon's Viktor Gyokeres. That's according to TBR Football. Yes, we told you about that really in the morning. Liverpool could turn their attention to Benjamin Sesko, and we've also told you about the ongoing talks between Newcastle and Eintracht Frankfurt over a potential deal for Hugo Ekitike. Then also, yes, this is the name of the goalkeeper that are John Victor. Yes, that's the Botafogo goalkeeper that Man United could be looking to sign. As you know, he's available for cheap for about £6 million. He's 29 years of age. I think if he's a good goalkeeper, and I think why not? Why not? Of course, maybe if it does come in, it may mean that outside Bendia moves on or Andre Onana. You never know, but like I said, Andre Onana is injured, so you can only wait. Then also, while they remain in the market for a goalkeeper, they do maintain that other areas of the pitch are bigger priorities because Cameroon international Andre Onana is set to keep his place as first choice goalkeeper. That's according to iPaper. Then okay, that's the gist of the speculation here and there regarding your favorite teams. Of course, tomorrow, I mean, Chelsea just champions of the world, so maybe as we approach midway this week, more news will come in regarding to outgoings and incomings in regards to their players, because they need to create space in that squad, but also they will be looking to sign more and more players because they are Chelsea. They're in the business of trading players, really, from at least from what we've observed. Unless there is any question for me whatsoever, let's wait and see. Cristian Mosquera apparently bids a farewell to Valencia ahead of his move to Arsenal. This is my home. It will always be. I arrived here at 12 and I'm living as a man. I'm a bit sad. That's apparently according to Cristian Mosquera, who, like I said, we are waiting for him to be, told to be permitted to travel, to undergo his medicals. Then Arsenal's Declan Rice did not travel with the rest of the team to Spain for that pre-season camp. I do not know particularly for what reason, but he has been undergoing, his individual training plan. Didn't travel with the squad. Instead, he's been working out at a non-league side, Mathems Stadium, in recent weeks. So yeah, that's Declan Rice for you. So Arsenal are looking to complete their sixth signing in the course of this week. Of course, they've already landed Christian Nogard. They've landed Martin Zubimendi and Kepa Arrizabalaga. Now Mosquera is on the way. Noni Madueke is as good as done. Viktor Gyokeres is in the pipeline. Let's just wait and see. It looks like it will be exciting times. And then after that, if Arsenal can go on and get Beleche Eze and Rodrigo Goes, then it could be really, really a scary summer or season for their opponents, because that could be quite the setup. That means they would have signed 8 first-team players. They've never even signed 6. I think in recent history, in regards to I think the time they signed a lot of players, you remember around 20, was it 2011, 2010, when Man United beat them H2, and then Ateta went and bought Pamet Saka, they signed, Andre Santos Clarindo, they signed Mikel Arteta, things like that. But yeah, that's the situation regarding Arsenal. I will be keeping you updated on any news whatsoever that does come through in regards to transfers from your favorite teams in the Premier League and beyond. Barcelona and Marcus Rashford, that has not, there's not been progress on that front. Bayern Munich in the pursuit for a winger, again, those, all that has stalled. We are waiting to see what it will come of in the coming days. Then quickly, I think that's it really. Being told Newcastle will replace Isak with Ekitike, Liverpool. Anyway, again, that's just us speculating that if that, let's say if Hugo Ekitike comes in, then it may mean that he moves on, that Alexander Isak moves on from Newcastle, but we do not know that for a fact. Then Newcastle spending £154 million on Ekitike, Elanga, and James Trafford, while a needed centre back to I smell a sell, a big one. That's according to anything Liverpool. Anyway, Liverpool fans are just equally speculating that maybe Newcastle's pursuit for Hugo Ekitike. Of course, it will be a huge financial outlay, one that would eclipse their own record signing for Alexander Isak in 2022, because they paid, I think, about 71.5 million euros to price him out of Real Sociedad. So maybe, just maybe, we can only watch the space and see. Otherwise, it's been a pleasure doing this with you. Have yourselves a wonderful rest of the night, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye. Good night.